So who else from the Karno Gang? Well, Stan Laurel. I mean, Stan had been Chaplin's understudy with Karno, and once Chaplin's success rocketed, Stan actually was appearing as a sort of like a Chaplin imitator on stage. And then in 1917, he made his first film, Nuts in May. Went on to have a good career with Roach, doing solo films, and Joe Rock. Here's one of Stan's early appearances with Larry Semon.
They obviously got on well.
This is him in a film called Do You Love Your Wife? And there were many other Karno veterans who appeared on screen, many with Chaplin himself, people like Billy Armstrong, who appeared in many of the Chaplin SNAs and other films of that period. He was a well-known Senate performer. Albert Austin, who was in Chaplin's Mutual films and many others. Eric Campbell, lovable Eric Campbell. He was a dramatic performer as well as a Karno star. So Chaplin obviously preferred to work with people he knew and trusted. And as we said, the most popular of the Karno shows was The Mummingbirds with the drunk character. And when Chaplin joined SNA in 1915, he made a film version of Mummingbirds. He called it A Night at the Show. Now this had actually been used earlier by Max Linder. Chaplin's film was made in 1915 for SNA, and Chaplin played two characters, Mr. Pest, who was a well-dressed drunk in the audience, and Mr. Rowdy, who was up in the balcony being rowdy. Now, it's interesting to note that Billy Ritchie did his own version of The Mummingbirds on film. Yeah, the film's called Silk Hose and High Pressure. And it's very interesting to note that it was released 12 days before Chaplin's version. A couple of years later, Larry Semon ripped the idea off in a film called Between the Acts. And funnily enough, he played someone in the audience who was a bit of a rowdy character, and someone else as well. And Larry Semon actually remade his own film 3 years later in The Show. Once again, Semon played a couple of characters. So, everyone was borrowing from everyone else. And playing two characters in a theatrical setting then became almost like a comedy standard. Obviously, Keaton's Playhouse, made in 1921, took it to an extreme. And then Lupino Lane did a similar film in 1929 when he made Only Me and played basically everyone who's in the theatre. And playing the drunk is something that Chaplin obviously excelled in, and so he returned to that in 1 a.m., which he made in 1916. Now, obviously, Chaplin didn't invent the act of being a drunk. It had been done many times before. Max Linder had done it earlier. And many others did it later, like Stan Laurel.